happy guy.
It seemed like I what?
Y'all came up with the "Let's Ride" remix.
You said it seems like I what with a smiley face?
No, you like you got the smiley face on. You're like, hi.
Well, it's about
Well, yeah, it's. I didn't want to be
0 in the
screaming
morning where he is.
No, we good. That's easy, man. Dodgers won again, 111 wins. Set record. I mean, I'm just chilling. I ain't wait for Thursday night football. And see what the Broncos and Indianapolis can do. See if they can make it a game.
Boy, it's gonna be a real shootout, huh? It's gonna be a shootout. The Colts and Broncos.
Line of the day yesterday,
and,
Key.
And Russell Wilson, boy, it's gonna be a new day in those two towns.
Line of the day yesterday, Key. He said it's the Colts versus the Broncos. Which horse you picking? Who's a better horse? That's the excitement for tonight's game.
Yes, which is the better horse? Can't wait to have a conversation about
horse race ever.
The dust up, the little bit of a dust up in Golden State. Can't wait to have that conversation. That'll be interesting to hear. Obviously the over under, the pace, just all the different things that we're gonna be doing this morning. Can't wait.
He started it. You see,
the over under. The
he
pace.
slipped into press conference mode for a second. I can't wait to hear about. It's definitely gonna be interesting.
Yeah, he just forgot to say "Let's ride" at the end. Let's ride.
So anyway, look, Colts at Broncos. Broncos are favored by a field goal, meaning the odds makers are saying, man, these teams are this, same level. And what's the funny thing about the NFL? Short week. Two bad teams so far. Not the worst teams ever, but they have not lived up to expectations, obviously. And so it's like, this is kind of a dud of a game for the prime. But the way the NFL works, watch it be, they're going to go into overtime. It's going to be tied up. There's going to be 7 touchdowns scored on each. It's one of those leagues, man. Like the NFL is a just when you think you got it figured out, it throws you a curveball league. But before we get to the matchup, what about Russell Wilson and his slow start? Key, you were like, I don't know why everyone thinks that Russell Wilson's going to put him over the top because they're not ready to win the whole thing yet, and Russell Wilson isn't that dude anyway. And they got a new OC and a new head coach, and he's in a new place. By those standards, do you think he's off to a slow start, or is this more or less what you expected?
It's pretty much more or less. They are not running the football nearly to the level that they should be. In fact, they lose their running back for the night's game. But when you go and you get a guy like Russell Wilson, your team needs to be where Peyton Manning was with the Denver Broncos, where Von Miller and company, DeMarcus Ware and company, and Talib and company prior to snatching the chain was they were good. They just needed a quarterback. This team was not good. They had a good running game. They had 1 or 2 pieces. They got the young piece in Surtain. And so I understand how everybody got hyped about, but one of the things that I always point back to is when Stink was on our show and he covers the Denver Broncos. He played for the Denver Broncos. He won Super Bowls for the Denver Broncos. He talks to people like John Elway that he protected for so long. That's Mark Slair, nicknamed Stink. When he was on our show, he simply said to us, if you remember Jay and Max, even if they got Aaron Rodgers, which I think by most people's standards, Aaron Rodgers is a significant upgrade from Russell Wilson. He said they wouldn't even make the playoffs. So if a guy that's in the building, essentially, is saying this, he ain't saying it because he just don't like the team. He's saying it because he sees something, he knows something. And so obviously I start to follow that and I'm like, yeah, he's right. Their defense was okay a year ago under Vic Fangio, but their defense wasn't DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller and Talib and company. That wasn't that defense. And so they just figured, I guess, they would add Russell Wilson and instead of being 2-2. And 2-2 is not bad. But it's just what it looks like. It doesn't look good.
What about you, Jay? Like what about specifically Russell Wilson? Like I hear everything you're saying. That's right. I mean, I don't know why people expected him to set the world on fire, but Russell Wilson's off to a slow start.
I mean, he scored 2 touchdowns, 2 passing TDs. He ran for 1 the other game, 23 points. They didn't come out to a win versus the Raiders, but the offense at least didn't look like it was at a stalemate like it's looked the past 3 games, right? So I do take that as a step in the right direction for the offense. As Key mentioned, look, when you don't have guys like Randy Gregory, I'm not saying he will ever be Von Miller, but their defense is missing a game-changing front seven, right? So the combination isn't there. I think this is all kind of falls in line with where we saw Denver. I don't think anybody saw Denver winning the AFC West. Did you?
Right, no.
Yeah, right? So if we had them as the third or fourth best team, is it clicking on all cylinders? No. But I am taking them to win this game tonight. They are 3.5-point favorites at home against a Colts team that is struggling. Now, I know that the Broncos don't have Javonte Williams. I know that hurts, puts more pressure on Melvin Gordon II to do his thing. But
who, by the way, a couple of years ago was considered, is he going to be a star running back, right?
Yep, but the Colts not having Jonathan Taylor, right? This guy was in the MVP conversation last year with how they're actually playing, coming out off that game against the Titans. They have to get this game at home.
So, yeah, the crazy thing about the Broncos is it's not like they have a bad record right now, and they haven't looked good. And somehow they're treading water. They win tonight, and you look at them and they go, "Oh, okay." And they haven't started playing well yet. They might be okay. Here's Nathaniel, the Broncos head coach, who, to me, and Key, after we hear this sound, you tell me if I'm right or wrong. Looks like he's been in a little over his head so far, but we'll see. How concerned is he about the run game?
We got to evaluate everything. We got to look at it. And, all our guys that, they have done things good in the past, and whether we got to block it better, secure the football, all those things. I mean, you got to run the football in this league. That's my opinion. That's our offensive philosophy. So we got to find better ways to run the ball and be able to secure the ball at all times. But we'll get better at that.
Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to their run game. I mean, obviously you got a new system in play, but you would think that they would keep some of the same principles that they had a year ago when they rushed for about 1,900 yards as a unit, as an offensive unit. They rushed for about 1,900 yards. And so I don't know why they've gone away from those sort of things. And he is right. You got to run the ball in this league. And if you're not capable of running the football, just check the box with the Los Angeles Rams. They can't run the ball. And if you're not running the football, check the Baltimore Ravens. Outside of Lamar Jackson, they haven't been able to run the ball. Obviously, they got Dobbs back, so it looked a little bit different a week ago. You just got to run the ball. You take the pressure off the quarterback. Russell Wilson is a run support. He needs the running game to support his style. He needs a defense to support his style. And when you don't have that, you get a different type of player.
Key, before we move along quickly, listen, Nathaniel Hackett beat out guys like the Eric B. enemies of the world for this job, obviously, right? Because he's the head coach. Is he in over his head? How's he look so far?
I don't know that he's in over his head. I think he's on the job training, and I don't think when you're on the job training, you're going to get what you're looking for in that investment.
Broncos offensive coordinator told reporters Melvin Gordon would obviously carry the load with Javonte Williams out for the season. We shall see what the running game does.
Max, the Colts have not scored over 20 points in a game yet this season.
Yeah.
20 in overtime against Houston.
Oh, that's a whole other
Take
story.
the under. I'm with you, Yates. Take the under. Let's make some money tonight. That's how I'm looking at the game.
I will say it again. They got a third-round pick for Matt Ryan.
I'm taking the over.
You're taking the over?
Yeah.
Do you know what the number is?
Yeah. He's just saying he's expecting more offense than people think is going to happen.
No, you said they haven't scored more than 20. I'm talking about the Colts.
Oh, about the Colts. You think they're going to score more than 20 points tonight?
Yeah, they will. Tonight they will.
By the way, the